Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupar Rashata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupar Rashata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Vāman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupar Rashata Shishimar Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupar Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatara Shimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Srila Satchit Ananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannātha Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Nugagariya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopala Patadash Raghunath Shar Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namachai Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gora Mandala Braja Mandala Mathura Vṛndāvana Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Vo. Hari Bol, everybody. Sorry, I haven't done Paran yet, and I thought the time was 10:20. What is it? 10:20 something before 10:20 something, and then I just checked though, and it is. Thank God, because on this calendar that I have right here, I just noticed it says 6:55 a.m. I'm not sure what calendar. Maybe that's for Navadip though. Because here, today's December 5th, and it says before 10:25 a.m. So I'm good still. Okay. Hari Bol, everybody. Indira, Ganga Mataji, Gargarajji, Raseshwari Mataji, Madhavi Didi. Dandavat pranams to all of you. Hari Bol. All right, so I'm going to just jump right into it because I don't want to finish too late. And so yeah, we're at this part in Śrīmad Bhagavatam where Krishna is going to send Uddhava to Vṛndāvana to console the Brajavasis, and there's a beautiful description of this pastime in my Śrīla Gurudeva's Jagannātha Ratha-yatra book, chapter 8. So I'm going to read. The chapter is actually, it's very long. I just took a section of the chapter though. Okay. So this is describing Mahaprabhu who's in front of the chariot, Jagat's chariot, during Ratha-yatra time. Due to being so immersed in bhav, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unable to utter Sri Jagannath Dev's name. He could only chant, Jaja Gaga, Jaja Gaga. Tears flowed constantly from his eyes, and his heart melted. Only a supremely rasika devotee can have realization of this condition. When he would take darshan of Sri Jagannath Dev, Mahaprabhu would see him as Vrajendra Nandan Shyam Sundar. Absorbed in the Radha Bhav, he would think, I was burning in the fire of separation from the beloved of my life, and now, after a long time, I am meeting him. Understanding the bhav of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Sarup Damodar began to sing a song in accordance with that mood. Eto parananata paino, jaha lagi madane, jaha lagi madana dahane, jhuri genu. That's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 13:113. I have gained that very Lord of my life, Sri Krishna, for whom I was burning in the fire of Kam, of Cupid. The necessity of taking shelter of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, the king of scriptures, in order to understand the hidden moods of Śrīmad Mahaprabhu. Oh, sorry. This is a... Wait, let me fix that. Okay. The necessity of taking shelter of Śrīmad Bhagavatam, the king of scriptures, in order to understand the hidden moods of Śrīmad Mahaprabhu. As Śrīmad Mahaprabhu heard this song from the lips of Srila Sarup Damodar, all of Sri Krishna's pastimes manifested on the screen of his mind. Completely absorbed in prem, he became immersed in the moods of Raj, and was not conscious of anything external. In his Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Gosvāmī has given a mere indication of the internal condition of Śrīmad Mahaprabhu. To understand the transcendental moods of Śrīmad Mahaprabhu, who is immersed in Radha Bhav, one must take shelter of the Śrīmad Bhagavatam, because in it alone, the history and confidential imports of Ratha-yatra are given. At the mere age of 11, Shri Krishna left Vṛndāvana and went to Mathura. Then, after some time, to protect the Mathuravasis from Jarasanda's repeated attacks, he shifted them in just one night to Dwarka, which was newly constructed by Vishvakarma, the architect of the demigods. When Shri Krishna left for Mathura, all the Vrajvasis sank in the great ocean of separation from him. Yashoda Maya, Nanda Baba, all the other Gopas and Gopis who are endowed with parental affection, Vatsalya Bhav, Shri Krishna's friends, and his beloved Gopis wept day and night remembering him. All the cows and calves, animals and birds, and the worms and insects of Vraj became overwhelmed with sorrow. The trees, creepers, rivers, lakes, and waterfalls of Vṛndāvana also began to dry up in separation from him. Shri Krishna sends Uddhava to Vraj. In Mathura, Shri Krishna too was becoming aggrieved due to his love for his beloved gopis and for his mother and father. In Mathura, there was no one to console him. In Vraj, however, the gopis used to meet together and express their pangs of separation from him. In this way, they shared each other's grief and experienced some relief. There, Lalita ji would say to Shri Radha, "O Saki, do not become restless. Shri Krishna is not away. He is right in your heart." Speaking in this way, she would pacify her, share her grief, and cry with her. But in Mathura, there was no such person with whom Krishna could cry or share his sadness by speaking about the gopis. Shri Krishna thus considered sending his friend and advisor, Uddhavji, to Vraj. He thought, Uddhavji might give consolation to mother and father, and especially to my dear beloved. Uddhavji might give consolation to my mother and father, and especially to my dear beloved gopis. By the mercy of the gopis, he come to know something of the glories of prem. Then, when he returns to Mathura, having studied in the school of the gopis, I shall be able to sit with him and express the feelings of my heart, and the pain I will feel in separation from them will be removed. While Shri Krishna was thinking like this, Uddhavji came to him. Shri Krishna took Uddhav's hand in his own and said, "O Uddhav, quickly go to Vṛndāvana. There my mother, father, and all the Vrajvasis are writhing in separation from me. The gopis are experiencing the topmost limit of separation. Please console my mother and father and give a message to the gopis. My mother is consoled by your words, but the gopis are beyond the influence of your consolation. Your endeavor will only further increase their fire of separation even more. So you should simply give them my message, by which their agony will somewhat decrease. Hearing this, Uddhava became a little melancholy and said, To live elsewhere without you for so many days is not possible for me. I cannot remain alive without you, even for a moment. Shri Krishna said, Do not worry. I am only slightly here in Mathura, but I am fully in Vraj, exclusively. Only a mere portion of my heart is in Mathura. When you go to Vraj, you will see that I fully reside there. Speaking thus, Shri Krishna prepared Uddhavji to go to Vraj, arranging for him a golden chariot that had been used by Kamsa. Shri Krishna then put his ornaments and so forth on Uddhavji, who now looked just like Shri Krishna. His dark complexion, temperament, body, and even his language were just like Shri Krishna's, as were his qualities. Uddhav set off carrying Shri Krishna's message. When he arrived, it was evening, and he saw the cows coming back from the forest. So much dust rose from the hooves of the cows that it filled the entire sky. For this reason, no one saw Uddhavji enter Vraj. Meanwhile, in Mathura, Shri Krishna thought, Uddhav is going to Vraj, thinking that I am not there. Whereas in Vraj, all the Vrajvasis were perpetually overwhelmed with love for me. My cows, calves, friends, mother, father, and gopis all remained overjoyed and enraptured in prem, and the atmosphere was suffused with unprecedented joy. If I do not manifest this for Uddhav, he will never grasp the significance of Vraj. As soon as Shri Krishna desired this, his Yogamaya potency, which makes the impossible possible, performed a pastime in which an amazing sight manifested before his eyes. Uddhavji saw a countless number of extremely beautiful white and black calves leaping here and there. The cows' udders were so heavy with milk that it looked as if they would touch the earth as milk dripped from them. The cows are Shri Krishna's mothers, and they possess paternal affection for him. Without seeing him, they were not even feeding their own calves' milk. On all four sides, the older gopis were churning yogurt, and while doing so, they remembered Shri Krishna's pastimes, singing Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. While churning yogurt, their bracelets jingled, and the churning rod in the clay pot made a diktan sound, as if it was trying to say that the life of those who do not perform bhajan of Shri Krishna is cursed. Diktan. And tan means dull, right? And it's extremely dull. Uddhavji saw that everywhere fragrant ghee wicks were burning, emanating a soft glow that was charming to the eyes. A very gentle breeze spread the sweet scent of flowers in all directions. The humming of bumblebees as they hovered over the flowers sounded like the sweet sound emanating from the conch of Cupid. Cuckoos and other birds were singing everywhere, and peacocks were dancing and making their ke-ka sounds. Ke-ka, ke-ka. As Shri Krishna's sakas were coming back from the pasturing grounds, frolicking here and there, saying, "Oh Kanaya, where are you? Oh Kanaya, where are you? Kanaya ki jai ho, Kanaya ki jai ho." In this way, Uddhavji became quite content, having received a glimpse of what it was like when Shri Krishna lived in Vraj. He developed the faith that Shri Krishna, even then, was fully situated only in Vraj, and that he was only partially present in Mathura. We just read about, right, how separation and meet together in Vraj. So while, right, because Krishna left, was actually, anyways, both are simultaneously happening in Vraj. So he developed the faith that Sri Krishna, even then, was fully situated only in Vraj, and that he was only partially present in Mathura. He finally arrived at the door of Nanda Bhavan, the home of Nanda and Yashoda. Leaving his chariot there, he went inside. Hari Bol Pradyumna Prabhu and Mantaramurti Mataji. Uddhavji enters to give consolation to Nanda Baba. When Nanda Baba heard that Uddhav had come to the door, he lovingly brought him inside and offered him a seat. Nanda Baba knew that he had to feed something to a guest who had come to his home. But when he searched his house, he saw that there was nothing to offer Uddhav at all, not even milk, nor was there anyone to milk a cow. So now he's seeing Vraj in separation. He got to see Vraj with Krishna, and now he's seeing it in separation from Krishna. So there was no one to even milk a cow. Needless to say, there was no yogurt churned. For whom was all this done? For whom was all this previously done? Ever since Sri Krishna left for Mathura, all the kitchen pots in Nanda Bhavan were left upside down, and the courtyard had never been swept. Mother Yashoda constantly wept and tossed about in pain. So how could she prepare anything? Spiders had woven webs on the stove. Previously, Nanda Baba's storeroom was completely full, but since Krishna left for Mathura, no one was even needed to look after it, because it was empty. For this reason, Baba had a message sent to a Brahmin who lived at one end of the village, informing him that Krishna's dear friend Uddhav had come and asking him to kindly prepare some foodstuffs to offer him. That Brahman made kheer, milk and rice pudding. But there was no sugar in his house, so he cooked the kheer without sugar and brought that. Because Uddhavji was hungry, he ate that kheer with great love. Afterwards, Nanda Baba had one of his servants massage Uddhavji's feet. After Uddhav awoke from a short rest, Nanda Baba wanted to inquire about his darling boy, but whenever he uttered Krishna, his throat choked up and tears flowed from his eyes. For this reason, he maintained some gravity and simply asked, "Oh, my dear, my friend Vasudev is very fortunate. He is happy and healthy, is he not? Kamsa has died due to his own sins, and the Yadus, who had hidden in other kingdoms in fear of him, are now returned free from fear, no? Api smaratina Krishna mataram suhrida sakin panvrajam chatmanatham gavo Vṛndāvanam girim." Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:46-18. Does Sri Krishna still remember me and his mother and his other well-wishers, his cowherd friends headed by Sridham and all the other cowherd men? Does he remember Vraj Mandal, which he protected, or the cows, Vṛndāvan and Govardhan Hill? Then with great difficulty, Nanda Baba asked, "Does our darling boy ever remember his mother, who has become blind due to incessantly crying in separation from him? She pampered him so lovingly and cannot live without him, even for a moment. Yashoda's friends consider Krishna to be their very own son, and they love him more than they love their own son. When Krishna would come back from grazing cows, they would first offer arati to him and bless him by taking all of his misfortunes on their own head, and only then would they do the same for their sons. Yashoda's friends used to call Krishna to their house and feed him, and they would lovingly reciprocate. Does Krishna ever remember such well-wishers? Does he ever remember those sakis who he used to play with throughout the Vraj, sometimes on the bank of the Yamuna and sometimes in Govardhan? There's a footnote there, but yeah, I don't. Anyways, does Krishna remember? Sorry. Does Krishna remember Radhika, Lalita, Vishakha, and the other Sakis who, upon not seeing Krishna for a split second, would twist and turn in the distress of separation from him? Since their very childhood, these gopis loved Krishna millions of times more than they cared for their own lives. O Uddhav, what to speak of the Vrajvasis? Even the cows love Krishna more than they love their own calves. The trees, creepers, mountains, Govardhan, rivers, waterfalls, animals, and birds love Krishna. The entirety of Vraj is anguished in separation. Does he ever remember that Vraj? Uddhav, will Krishna ever come back to Vraj again? Uddhav said, Baba, do not cry. Krishna has promised to return to Vraj. Most certainly will come back. Nanda Baba began to remember the beauty of Krishna. Weeping, he said, Oh, how beautiful Krishna is! How beautiful is his nose, which is like a sesame flower! How beautiful and extraordinary are his sidelong glances! How charming and lovely are his cheeks! When he smiles, his dimples become visible, further enhancing his beauty, and the entire world seems to sacrifice everything at his feet. Continuously remembering Krishna in this way, Nanda Baba became restless. He wept and his throat became choked. Uddhavji said, Your affection for Krishna is supremely blessed. Sorry. I have seen many people who have affection for Krishna, but none of them have an affection like yours. Do not worry. Krishna promised that, so there should not be a single doubt about the certainty of his return. It may well be that for some reason or other there is a delay, but he will surely come back to Vraj. Nanda Baba again began to speak, agitated with love. Yes, Krishna was the protector of us all. Whenever adversities fell upon Vraj, Krishna protected us. One time, he swallowed a forest fire in order to save the sakas and calves. On Krishna's advice, we stopped the puja of Indra and performed puja of dead. Indra then became filled with rage and gave orders to the clouds of universal destruction to pelt down showers of rain and drown all the Vrajavasis and Krishna in a deluge of water. For 7 days and 7 nights, there was tumultuous downpour, and Krishna very played Govardhan as if it were an umbrella, and called all the gopas, gopis, cows, calves, and all Vrajvasis under its shelter. Once, Vrishabhasura assumed the form of a bull and entered, but Krishna slayed him. The Keshi demon, Agasura, Bakasura, and other demons came to kill the Vrajvasis, but Krishna killed them all, and the Vrajvasis were saved. And now, we Vrajvasis are drowning in the great ocean of separation from Krishna. If he does not come back now and save us, then all of Vraj will drown in the ocean and die. Thus, while incessantly remembering Sri Krishna's beauty, sweetness, captivating smile, sweet speech, enchanting crooked gait, chivalry, brilliance, and so on, all of Nanda Baba became inert. Overwhelmed with prem, he fainted. Uddhavji thought, Oh, how wonderful is the prem of Yashodhara and Nanda Baba for Sri Krishna. They do not know that Sri Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. They are completely captivated by him and consider him to be their own son. How can I possibly console them? Slowly, Uddhavji brought Nanda Baba to consciousness. Nanda Baba began to say, In order to forget Krishna, I go outside. But all throughout Vraj are Krishna's darling, soft little footprints. He used to play on the banks of Yamuna and everywhere in Vraj. There is not a tree, a cave in Giriraj, or a kunj way. Wherever I go, I only have visions, I only have spurtis of his pastimes, and memories come to mind of his playing, laughing, speaking, everything. Ceaselessly thinking about Shri Krishna in this way, Nanda Baba was again overwhelmed with prema and became silent. Uddhavji thought, I came to console him, but instead he has become agonized by his deep lamentation for Krishna. In this material existence, supremely blessed is he who meditates upon Sri Krishna with a continuous stream of tears flowing from his eyes. This is the characteristic of Bhav Bhakti, when one's inner modes of devotion are fully developed. And it is apparent in Nanda Baba. He is thinking of Sri Krishna and crying for him. Still, I must give him some kind of consolation. If a person is crying, then one should comfort him, telling him not to cry. Ironically, I cannot even do that. How can I say, Nanda Baba, do not cry for Krishna? If I do so, then according to Shastra, it constitutes sinful activity. Shri Krishna told me to come back after giving consolation to his mother, father, and all of Vraj. But how can I console them? We may be able to console a distressed person when our feelings are somewhat similar to theirs and tears come to our eyes. Nanda Baba's feelings of separation from Krishna are so intense that no one can remain before him without crying. But I am most unfortunate. Because I am devoid of love for Krishna, unlike the Gopas and Gopis, because I am devoid of love for Krishna, unlike the Gopas and Gopis, and that is why I am not crying. The greatest fruit of a human birth is to call out, Krishna, Krishna, while crying for him in separation. If I were to say to Nanda Baba, Baba, weep and keep on weeping, then I would not be following Krishna's order to pacify him. To give consolation, it is necessary to divert a person's mind from what he is crying about and direct it towards something else. But I cannot even do this, because Nanda Baba's mind is fixed exclusively on Sri Krishna. How can I tell him to take his mind off Krishna and think about something else? If someone becomes absorbed in Sri Krishna, he has attained his life's greatest fortune. In reality, Nanda Baba is extremely great, and his life is most blessed. After consideration, Uddhavji said to Nanda Baba, Yuvam Gayatamo nunam Dehinam iva manada Nārāyaṇe kila guru Yatkrita matiridrishi. That's Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:46-30. In this world, extending to all universes, you and Yashodamaya are the most fortunate and worthy of praise, because you have ardent affection for Nārayaṇa, Sri Krishna, the Guru of the entire universe. Not a single living entity can touch this fortune of yours. Upon hearing this, Nanda Baba said to Uddhav, What are you saying? What are you saying? You are calling me fortunate? Uddhav, I lament over your intelligence. I used to think that because you live with Krishna, you must have become very intelligent. But your words seem to reveal that even your milk teeth have not yet come out. You are describing as fortunate that person who is the most unfortunate in all of this material existence. Before speaking, first think a little. You are saying that Krishna is Nārayaṇa, the spiritual preceptor of the entire universe. Before, I used to think of Krishna as just my son, and so I cried, agitated in separation from him. I want my life will not. Brahmaji has made my heart as hard as a thunderbolt. The one and only true father in this world was Mahārāja Dasharatha, who in separation from his son gave up his body, crying out, O Ram, O Ram, but I am not dying in separation from my son. I am such a greatly unfortunate person that I got Narayan as my son, but due to my wickedness, I have lost him. Bhagavan stays only in those places where someone loves him. It seems that there is no prem in me, and for this reason, Krishna left and went to Mathura. Uddhavji thought, now what shall I do? He who Nanda Baba considers to be his son is not his son. Vishvasya cha bija yoni. That's Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:46-31. The seed, the bij of the universe is the Purusha, and the creative potency, Prakriti, is the womb, Yoni. Universal creation happens because of both of them. Nanda Baba considers that Shri Krishna, who is the supreme person and who is the cause of that Purush in the form of a seed, and Prakriti to be his son. He is very anxious for those he considers his sons, Balaram and Shri Krishna, who are all pervading and thus known as the source of the universe. Everything is within them, and they lack nothing whatsoever. People in the sky only because they have fallen into illusion. Illusion arises from ignorance. Only by destroying ignorance through transcendental knowledge, through tattva gyan, can illusion be dispelled. If Nanda Baba obtains this knowledge that Shri Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan and all-pervading, then his illusion will be broken, and the agony of separation from him will also be dispelled. Thinking in this way, Uddhavji said, Baba, Nārāyaṇe kila Guru. Shri Krishna is Narayan, the Guru of the entire universe. That's verse 30 of this same chapter 46. Everyone is his progeny, and all of you are crying. Everyone is his progeny, and you are crying for him, considering him to be your son. Your son is the supreme person. This is indeed the truth, as corroborated by the Puranas and Vedas. He is the cause of all causes and the source of the universe. O Great One, O Nanda Baba, please understand that there is not a single place where Shri Krishna is not. Nanda Baba became agitated and said, O Uddhav, you are calling Krishna Bhagavan? For just a little bit of buttermilk, for a little chach or roti and fresh butter, makhan, he used to become so fractious. At every moment, Krishna felt so hungry that he ate butter, having stolen it from others' houses. He used to tell lies, and he would become so angry about the most insignificant things. You are calling that Krishna Bhagavan? Bhagavan is he who does not feel hunger or thirst, who is above birth and death, and in whom there is no anger, attachment, aversion, and the like. I pity your intelligence. As soon as Uddhav heard this, he began to consider that he had made a mistake. He should not have called Shri Krishna Narayan, because by doing so, Nanda Baba's pain of separation only increased. Uddhav could not think of how to console Nanda Baba and Yashoda Maya. It was as if the prem of Yashoda Maya and Nanda Baba was as tall as the Himalaya mountains. And in tilting his head to see the height of its summit, Uddhav's turban of Brahma Gyan, his awareness of Krishna's Krishna's godhood, had fallen off. Then, not knowing what to do next, he said, Father, do not be so distressed. Agamishyat dirgena kalena vrajam achyuta. Achyuta shall return to Vraj within a short time. That's verse 34. Shri Krishna is true to his word. If he has promised to come back, then he shall certainly. I therefore request you to please have patience. Krishna, who saves Yashoda Maya, you and all the Krishna, who saves Yashoda Maya, you and all the Vrajvasis from distress, will certainly return. Do not be distraught. The entire night passed, arguing, giving consolation, and weeping. In the morning, Uddhava went to take bath in a lake situated nearby Nandagaon, which is now called Krishnakund. He bathed and sat down to do his anik, but today his mind was not focused. Nanda Baba's form, full of love, and his feelings for Krishna kept his meditation. I do not even know how to cry for Krishna, he thought, whereas the sobbing and weeping of Yashoda Maya and Nanda Baba for him never decrease. Hari Bol, Nari Hari Prabhu, and Pavataranda Ji, and Hari Priya Didi, and Yashoda Didi. Hari Bol. Okay, Uddhav Ji's darshan of the gopis Mahabhav. At that very moment, some distance away, by the mercy of Yogamaya, Uddhav Ji saw a forest of kadamba trees. Upon coming closer, he noticed millions of gopis sitting there, looking forlorn. Their faces were pale. Their cloth was dirty, having become wet with their tears, and smeared with the dust of Vraj. The gopis would not clean their clothes, because the tears on those clothes had been wept for Sri Krishna. Overwhelmed in separation, those gopis were on the verge of death. One gopi said, Sakhi, this morning I saw a golden chariot. Do you know why that chariot has come here and who came in it? Another gopi said, After killing Kamsa, Krishna has become the lord of Mathura, Mathuradish. He has seated his servant in a golden chariot and sent him here to flaunt his opulence before his father, mother, and the Vrajavasis. Another gopi said, I know why that chariot has come. In Mathura, Kamsa has died, hasn't he? And today is the day to offer him oblations, pinda. Possibly there is nothing for pinda there, but in Vraj there is so much. The Mathuravasis probably think that in separation from Krishna, all of us must have died. Therefore, they have sent him here to take our heart to be offered as pinda. Hearing these words of the gopis, Uddhavji became stunned. I should not have come to console them in this golden chariot, he thought. O Prithvi Devi, O Mother Earth, please crack open so that I can sink into the ground in shame. At that very moment, one gopi caught sight of Uddhav standing there. She immediately pointed to him and asked her Sakhis, Ah, who is this? One Sakhi said, I know this to be Krishna's companion. I know this to be Krishna's companion and attendant, Uddhav. How do you know? Another Sakhi asked. My sense of smell is flawless. The fragrance of that Vaijayanti garland, he has come here wearing carries the extraordinarily intoxicating fragrance of Sri Krishna's body. By this, it can be understood that Sri Krishna has sent him here, having placed his own garland on him. Knowing Uddhav to be Sri Krishna, the gopis encircled him. O companion of Krishna, why have you come here? There is no need for you to come to us. Krishna now has no relation with us. Our relationship with him depends on acceptance. If Krishna accepts our relationship, then it exists. And if he does not accept it, it does not. We used to regard him as our Priyatama, our dear most beloved. And he used to also regard us as his Priyatamas. But now he has discarded all relationship with us and gone to Mathura. Uddhav, we want to ask you a question. Prem is of two kinds, selfish and selfless. The relationship of a bumblebee with a flower and a man with a lady is selfish love. When a king becomes incapable of protecting his kingdom, his subjects leave his side. Birds abandon trees upon which no fruits and flowers remain. Animals immediately flee from a forest that is set on fire. No matter how much attachment a woman's heart may have for a man, if he is adulterous, He does not even turn to look back at her. He does not even turn to look back at her after his lust has been fulfilled. But Uddhav, we had selfless love for Sri Krishna, and Krishna had selfless love for us. How has that love broken? Hearing this, Uddhav began to scratch his head. Another gopi continued. Krishna has forgotten us, but the frustrating thing is that we cannot forget him. Now he has no relationship with us. But how could he have forgotten his own mother and father? He cannot break that relationship because his very body is made of the blood of Yashoda Maya and Nanda Baba. Therefore, O Uddhav, Maya and Baba over there go to Maya and Baba over there in Nanda Bhavan. Speaking in this way, the gopis constantly remembered the leelas of Sri Krishna. Forgetting the shyness natural for ladies, they began to cry bitterly. Those gopis then took Uddhavji deeper into a field situated in a dense Kadamba forest, Kadamba Kyari. There, Uddhav saw a golden, doll-like gopi lying on a bed of lotus flowers, looking as if she was about to pass from this world. Her sakis held a piece to her nostrils to see whether or not she was still living. By doing so, they knew there was still some life in her. Dhyayanti Krishna Sangamam. Meanwhile, that gopi who was lying down began to incoherently utter words in transcendental madness, Divya Unmad. In that unconscious condition, Sri Radha, began to deeply contemplate Sri Krishna and how he left her to go to Mathura. Because she knew he could not remain without a sweetheart, she understood that he was surrounded by young damsels of Mathura and was reveling with them. Even in her delirious state, Sri Radha became full of man and began to rant in transcendental madness. Her talks in this condition are known as Brahmar Git, which is a chapter within the Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Kachin madhukaram drishtva dhyayanti Krishna sangaman priya prastapitam dutam kalpayitvedama bravit. Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:47-11. Meanwhile, a humming bumblebee, thinking Sri Radha's feet to be a lotus flower, began to hover over them, greedy for honey. Thinking the bee to be Sri Krishna's messenger, Radhaji, who was in Man, said, "O Madhupa, O friend of a cheater, go away, do not touch my feet. Your mustache is smeared with yellow kumkum from the breasts of the Mathura damsels that have been rubbed against the forest flower garland of our beloved. Let Madhupati Sri Krishna dispel the man of those Maninis, those haughty girls of Mathura. He who sends a messenger like you, bearing the marks of his other beloveds to dispel the jealous anger of a Manini must certainly be an object of ridicule in the Yadav assembly. O Madhukar, O bumblebee, it seems that my beloved has sent you to console me, but he has committed an offense. But your master is just like you. You drink the ras of one flower and then fly to another flower to drink its ras, just as Sri Krishna made us drink the nectar of his lips just once. Yes, only one time, and then immediately abandoned us gopis and went away. You may ask, if Krishna is as corrupt as you say, then why does Lakshmi Devi serve his feet? The answer is that it seems to us that Lakshmi Devi must have most certainly come into contact with his slippery, tricky, saccharine words. However, O B, we are not naive like Lakshmi. Why are you glorifying Krishna in front of us? We know this cheat very well. He told us that he would never be able to repay his debt he would never be able to pay his debt to us for our selfless love. And after giving us his word that he would return in 2 days, he still has not come. How can you say that he is truthful? Why are you trying to cajole? We are simply forest dwellers. We do not even have any home and family. We have become strangers for him. What do we even have to give you? If you go to Mathura and repeatedly solicit the young girls living there, then they will give you your desired things. Madhukar, do not try to touch your head to my feet. It seems your master has sent you here after teaching and training you very well how to appease a Manini. But it does not seem to me that anyone will hear what you have to say. We abandon our husbands, sons, friends, and other relations for Krishna, but he ungratefully left us. So how is it possible for us to make peace with him? Oh, friend of a cheater, just listen to some more of the qualities of your black master. And Treta Yuga, this black person mercilessly hid like a hunter and slayed the king of monkeys, Bali. Under the control of a woman, he disfigured the helpless innocent Shurparnaka who came to him proposing marriage, and cut off her nose and ears so that she could never marry anyone else. In this very age, in this yuga, in the form of a dwarf, he accepted the worship performed by Mahārāja Bali. And then, even after he took his desired object from him, he bound him with the ropes of Varuna and sent him to the lower regions. It was just like how a black crow eats what someone has offered him, and then surrounds that person with all his companions and harasses him. What is our concern with your black master? You may ask, if this is truly his nature, then why can't you gopis just forget him? Why do you talk about him? If you ask this, then the answer is, O Madhupa, that you are correct in saying we should forget him, and really, we want to. But despite this desire, we cannot give up speaking about him. This is our frustration. Having heard this, the bumblebee flew elsewhere, but after some time he came back. Again, Sri Radha said to him, O gentle soul, did my dearly beloved send you back to appease me? What? Do you want to take us there? But his wife, Lakshmi Devi, is always residing right on his chest. So how can we stay there? Oh, Madhukar, tell us, the beloved of our Oh, Madhukar, tell us, the beloved of our life is well, isn't he? Does he ever remember father, relatives, friends, and cows? Does he ever remember these maidservants of his? Will he ever place his hands, which are imbued with the divine fragrance of Aguru, on our heads? Will such an auspicious occasion ever come in our lives? Continuously speaking like this, Sri Radha lost all composure and began to weep bitterly as she lamented as follows. He Nata, He Rama Nata, Vṛndāvana Nashana, Magnamuddhara Govinda, Gokulam Vrijinarnavat. Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:47-52. O Nath, O Ram, O Vrajanath, O destroyer of all suffering, Govinda, please quickly lift this Vrajamandal out of the endless ocean of distress in which it is drowning. We are not capable of maintaining our lives any longer. Uddhava saw that the gopis' lives were just about to leave them due to their feelings of separation from Sri Krishna, and he therefore related Sri Krishna's message to the gopis exactly as it was. By his doing so, the gopis' agony of separation became even more intensified. Before Uddhava came to Vraj, the gopis used to think that Sri Krishna had given his word that he would return to Vraj, but after hearing his message, their creeper of hope was removed at the very root, and their separation increased even more. Uddhav's petition for the gopis' mercy. Having seen the gopis' love for Krishna, Uddhav's pride in his knowledge was crushed. He began to think, the gopis' prema is so elevated and unfathomable that I cannot even touch it. I cannot even imagine their glories. If I could obtain just a single particle of dust from their feet, my life would become meaningful. But I am not even qualified for that dust. I therefore offer pranam to them from afar. Thinking like this, Uddhavji began to pray. Asamaho charanarenu jushamaham sam Vṛndāvane kimapi gulmalato shadhinam yadustyajam swajanamaryam patam chahitva bhejur mukunda paravim shrutibhir vimregyam. Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:47-61. The best thing that could possibly happen to me would be to take birth in this Vṛndāvana as a forest bush, creeper, or medicinal herb. Aho, if I could become one of these, I would continuously have the good fortune of serving the foot dust from the lotus feet of these Vrajagopis. And if I bathe in their foot dust, I will become blessed. These gopis are most fortunate. Just see, having abandoned the things that are most difficult to give up, relations with family members, and the restrictions imposed by society and seniors, these gopis have obtained the topmost love for Sri Krishna. What more can I say? Even the Shrutis, which are the Vedic instructions that emanate from the breathing of the Supreme Lord, are still searching for that super excellent, love-laden form of Sri Krishna, but they cannot attain it. However, the gopis have obtained that supremely elevated love. After speaking the aforementioned verse, Uddhavji began to think, I could never possibly have the good fortune to take birth in Vraj in the form of grass and be constantly sprinkled with the dust of the gopis' feet. Therefore, praying for only one particle of the gopis' foot dust, he said, Vande Nanda Vrajastrinam Padarenom Abhikshnasha Yasam Hari Katorgitam Punati Bhuvanatrayam. Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10:47-63. I ceaselessly offer obeisance to the foot dust of the gopis of Nanda Braj. The narrations of Sri Krishna's pastimes sung by these gopis shall forever purify the three worlds. From which gopi's foot dust did Uddhav desire a particle of dust? Sri Radha. But he began to think, I am not even worthy of this. So if I can obtain a dust particle from the feet of any one of her Sakis, then my birth will become successful. Shri Krishna had sent Uddhavji to Vraj to go to the school of the gopis and study the subject of prem. But the gopis did not give him entrance, saying he was unqualified. Uddhavji therefore offered pranam to that school from afar. He learned whatever he could by observing it from the outside. Then, having tried his best to understand, he returned to Mathura. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupar Ashutara Shata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudeva ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupar Ashutara Shata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Vāman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupar Ashutara Shata Shishimar Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupar Ashutara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Mahārāja ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupar Ashutara Shata Shishimar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Mahabhagavat Śrīla Gaur Kishoras Babaji Mahārāja ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Śrīla Satchid Ananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannātha Das Babaji Mahārāja ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shar Goswami Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradatta Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund ki Jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki Jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki Jai. Grantaraj Shrimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Shri Sarva Vraja Devi Gana ki Jai. Shri Nanda Baba Yashoda Maya ki Jai. Shri Vishabhanu Nandini Shrimati Radha Thakurani ki Jai. Shri Rajendra Nandan Sham Sundar Shri Krishna Chandra ki Jai. Shri Uddhav ji ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Shri Sarvavajavasi Gan ki Jai. Sakha Gan ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyaya Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Pancha Kalpataru Vyashta Kripa Sindhu Bhyayevacha Patitanam Pavane Bhyo Vaishnave Bhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams everybody. Who's all there? Indira Mataji, Ganga Mataji, Gargraj ji, Raseshwari Mataji, Maravi Didi, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, Nari Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Hari Priya Didi, Yashoda Didi, Sudevi Didi, Rukmini Didi. Dandavat Pranams everybody. Hari Bo. Dandavat Pranams. Hari Krishna. Okay, see you all tomorrow. We'll begin chapter 46. Jai Shri Radhe. Hari Bo. Hari Bo, Rukmini Didi. Thank you. Jai Shri Radhe.